Get ready. On today's Better Listen Up with Evan J. Thomas show, we have an amazing artist coming your way. Iwan, a former New York Police Department officer turned powerhouse vocalist. Get ready for an amazing show right here. Hey, what's up, everybody? Evan J. Thomas here with Better Listen Up with Evan J. Thomas Show. And with me, I have a badass woman here. This is Iwan. How's it going? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was amazing. Had a lot of fun. How was yours?
Mine was great. A lot of
Okay.
food, a lot of sitting around, a lot of alcohol, a lot of watching football, a lot of movies,
Cool.
and a lot of snow. You don't see it over my shoulder here, but we got 10 inches of snow here in Chicago.
Right,
And
right.
we're coming today. You got any in New York out there?
No, nothing yet. It was a beautiful
You
weekend,
got
but
lucky.
we might get some, maybe a little sprinkling tonight. So not yet. Not yet for
Okay,
us.
so it's us that got hammered here. Now, on Wednesday last week, you released a brand new song, Black and Blue.
Yes.
It's an amazing track. You already had
Thank
two
you.
songs out previously. You had Warrior, you had Wait.
Uh-huh.
So what does this song, Black and Blue, do for you in terms of where you are going with your music?
Well, it's again a continuation. I sing from my life experiences, and Black and Blue is about how I processed my domestic violence experiences. And I've been on both sides. As I don't like calling myself a victim, I call myself a survivor, but also as a police officer who had to deal with this. And I actually specialized in this. So I know both sides of the story. And that song is just from my experiences, and hopefully, whatever I write about, sing about, helps someone else.
So looking at your experiences, when you were dealing with the domestic issues with yourself and then you saw it with somebody else, how did you translate what happened to them, those people, to your life at that time?
Well, I'm a classic victim. It was like I thought I could help somebody. I've always been a helper. I've always, maybe it's because I saw the potential in a person or a potential in a situation. So I didn't leave as fast as I could have. But it also, it was like a disconnect between, well, that's what happens to other people, but this is me and I can handle it. And I did handle it, but not before, I got a few, few knocked about a few times. So that's basically that. So.
So looking at your music, like I said, you had Warriors come out, you had Wait come out, now you have this song.
Mhm.
Are you looking for like your music to kind of portray this history of your life going forward, or are you kind of going to look at more like other types of content or just ideas on songs?
Well, I don't know what the future is going to bring for me, but I always sing from or write from things that have happened to me because I can't really do anything else. That's what I've always done. In a way, it's sometimes it's hard for me to talk about my experiences with words. So I take all of that and I channel it through music, through lyrics. And I've always wanted my experiences to maybe mean something, to like to help somebody else. So maybe if that song, someone listens to it and they feel empowered to stand up or get out, or like Warriors, be one, you know? And wait, the battle between good and evil. It's like, pick one, and I just write from, I sit down and blank sheet of paper and whatever comes out, but it's always from my experiences.
So you write from the heart and you just
Yeah.
kind of go at it.
Hmm.
What transitioned you from being in law enforcement to becoming a vocalist? Was it always something that you had in you, or did you kind of just find it eventually? How did this come about?
Well, I was always a singer. I mean, no offense to my job as a police officer. For some people, it's like their heart. My heart was always music. My father was a singer. And, but my parents, for whatever reason, didn't encourage me to go that way. And music has always been a part of my life. I mean, I can't remember it not being. So I remember standing on a table and saying, Mom, I'm gonna be on the TV one day and stuff. It's always been part. Even the NYPD used me to like as a singer. Once they found out that I'm okay on a stage and that I can sing a note, there was some public relations things that I did for the NYPD where I sang stuff. So it's just been woven into my life. But now it is my life.
Outside of music, and so I'm figuring you're not in law enforcement anymore,
No,
correct?
no.
So what made you get out of it to pursue your passion?
Well, we don't work very long here in New York. So there comes a time where you got to leave. So I left because my time was up. My tour of duty was done. And then it's like, well, what do you do? Well, I'm going to do music like I've always done, but now I'm going to devote my full time to it. So that's how that came about.
And looking at the music so far, so you have 3 really awesome singles, all released so far with me at Tag Publicity. How did you go about finding a producer? How did you go about that in the recording process and everything, since you really haven't done it previously up
Yeah.
until just recently? So how did all this come about? How did you find your team?
Uh, God, I guess, because I pray a lot. And looking back, you could almost see the hand of God in it. It's like I got back to, I left Florida. My mom was sick. I had to do that. And then I actually met my producer here. I met him online, like I think on Facebook musicians group or something.
Wow.
And it wasn't time for us to meet. But then somehow we kept in touch. He went to go do something, I did something, and then boom, less than a year ago we connected, and hence there's 3 songs and things are starting to roll and stuff the way I wish it had rolled a long time ago, but there's a reason for everything.
Exactly. So me being almost 51, I'm going to age myself and say that I got into doing this professionally a year ago. So there is never a timetable on when you can start something. I
Right.
started later,
Hmm.
you've started a little bit later in your
Hmm.
life, and
Hmm.
it's just one of those things where there are people that will tell you, and you've probably heard this. Oh, this you can't do this job, you can't do this business, it's
Yeah.
beyond you, or you're too old for it. What do you say to these people who do that to you or who say this stuff?
Well, when I wanted to become a cop, you're too little. You can't do
There you
this.
go.
You
There's another one right there. Exactly.
Yep. Here's the thing. It's like, this is how my life is. I love it when somebody tells me, hey, you can't do this. I don't say anything. I just smile.
Mm.
And an example is this. They told me I'd never be a cop because I can't do the gym part. The brain part is one thing, but the gym part. I became a gym instructor
I
at
was
the
gonna say,
police
you're pretty
academy.
freaking jacked and ripped to begin with, so
So when I decide to do something, it happens. Like it just, I make it happen, and I find a way, like water, I find a way. But you got to really want it. You got to have the intention. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. And music is a difficult world. The music business part of it is the difficult part. But you got to be in it to win it and never give up. It takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
that's a good mentality right there because a lot of people, and especially with what I do as a publicist and in the music business, I see a lot of people with real unrealistic expectations.
Hmm.
And those expectations will get to you pretty quickly if you think you're going to be an overnight success.
Yeah.
If you build it properly, if you build yourself, your look, your music, just
Hmm.
build everything the way it should,
Yeah.
then more people will see it. But one thing
Exactly.
you got to do is you got to get out there. You got to put yourself out there.
Yep.
Got to put your music out there. Now, putting yourself out there personally, I'm going to ask you this question. As you said, you're not a victim. It's just a part of your circumstances. How is that getting your life out there and letting people know what you've dealt with to kind of move forward?
I'm an open book. I have I have a really unique experience is that I don't have any family, I don't have any legacy. So my legacy is gonna be my music. I've lived such a rich life. For the short life that I've had, there's like 5 lifetimes of stuff. I gotta like let people know so that it could help somebody, or it could be interesting for somebody, or if she did it, look, I can do it. And I have a wealth of information, and I want to, that's my legacy, is I want to get my entire life out there. And there's stigma attached to a lot of like
Sure.
mental health issues, domestic violence. Sorry, it's still a stigma. And everybody goes through this, and no, very few are really speaking up about it. And I should speak up about it, because not only am I a client of all this stuff, but I used to have to deal with it as a police officer. And police officers are not exempt from any of it. But I can empathize because I went through it, instead of just sympathize looking at somebody and saying, oh, not really understanding. So, and music is my vehicle. My songs are my vehicle. And I'm an open book, and there's a lot of other things I'm going to talk about in the future.
And I love how you just put that, where you see it from the perspective of what you've gone through rather than kind of what I've gone through, where I just look from the outside. So
Yeah,
I'm the opposite of what you are, because I've never really experienced it. I've only seen it from one angle.
right.
It's usually, one-sided stories is how it goes. So with your music and with your openness and your vulnerability,
Mhm.
have you ever had anybody come up to you or message you and kinda ask for help or ask for assistance or tell their story to you and be like, "You know what? You're an inspiration to me."
My song hasn't been out there that long, but yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me for help. And just in my personal life, people that I meet, um, I'm an empath, and some people can sense that energy. I've actually, all of my life, people have just come up to me, and I keep to myself, but people come up to me and they tell me so many things. I don't know. There's something in my energy where I attract people that want to tell me everything. And I listen. Unless they ask me for advice, I don't really give it. But I've always had that attraction. People wanted to talk to me, or who's that? When I walk in the room, it's like all eyes on me. Not saying that stuck up. It's just that people are attracted to me without me doing anything. And yeah, they tell me a lot of things. Sometimes they ask me for advice, and I tell them. They may not like it, but they'll remember it, put something in their brain for later.
And it's interesting you said that you have that energy when people meet you that have never met you before. And I notice with your energy and what you just said, I get the exact same thing.
Thank you.
You and I have very unique looks.
Yep.
That's for sure. We could intimidate a lot of people out in public. But for some reason, I'm also that person where if I'm in line somewhere, somebody will talk to me
Yep.
every time. It could be a
Yep.
little kid looking at me smiling. Could be an older person just, shooting the shit with me and just kind of saying something. And with you getting that exact same kind of vibe, that's very interesting that we have that kind of connection. Maybe it's just our positivity or just the way we
Yeah.
kind of handle ourselves. And I see that a lot with people out in public where they have that mentality that, don't look up, don't open your eyes, don't look around. But you know what? There's people out there that need that smile.
Yeah.
And I see you being that type of person too. Like, do
Thank
you do you ever obviously get look I mean, people are gonna look at you regardless, just because your look,
you.
who you are, and I don't want to kind of harp on the look thing, but do you get people that say anything about how you look in person in public?
I get it all the time, because you have to wear your brand. But then for me, it wasn't really that concept. I just always dressed the same. I always dressed like a rocker.
Yep.
I went from one uniform to another.
Yep.
And people do walk up to me, and it's weird because they'll like yell things out. Like, I remember one girl, I was getting a coffee somewhere, said, "When I grow up, I want to be just like you." And I was like laughing because of the hair. For some, this style has been done forever and ever, amen, but yet
Mhm.
I wear it. Not too many people wear it, but it's not everything under the sun has been done, and I am that. But yet it seems to attract people. Plus, I think I have, but I always had it. That's the weird thing. It's not the cop thing. It's like I walk straight because I work out all the time, and maybe some of the cop thing is still there, but I'm only 5'5" and like I barely 120 pounds, but yet I seem bigger than I am. But my father was the same way. So some of it's genetics, some of it is what I've done. I don't know. Yeah, people do say a lot of different things. They like my style, and I'm like, okay, thank you. You got one body, you got one path through this life. Make the most of it, and don't beat yourself up about a lot of stuff either. Just
Yeah,
go.
exactly. Don't beat yourself up. And you said you're 5'5", and you can come off intimidating just in your look. You look
Yeah.
like you could be a professional wrestler with the way you kind of do your hair and all that. What's funny
Thank
is
you.
I'm 5'6", so I'm not much taller
Right
than
on.
you.
All
But
right.
I think it's just the way I, perceive myself. I have the
Yep.
confidence in no matter where I'm at.
Yeah.
I've been a bouncer at places even with this height,
I
taking
could see
down
that.
dudes that are 6'3". It's happened. And
Yeah.
people look at me like, "Oh, you're nobody. You're just a little short dude." But you know what? It's about the confidence, about who you are, and you being confident on who you are, being out in public, doing what you love. People get that vibe, get that energy off of you, and I think that kind of makes people kind of attracted to you.
Yeah.
Do you feel that too?
Yep. I feel
I
that
think that was
too.
a question. I don't know if that was a question or not.
No, but I love, like, I remember the last time I was on stage, it was on a cruise ship for the Creed cruise. And I got chosen to be in one of the contests over there. And it was just amazing. It's like the play, it's just, I can't even describe it. It's just so much love. Like the audience is there. I like an audience in front of me. As a cop, I don't like people around me. I'm one of those. But there was just such an exchange of love with like groups of people when you're singing. It's just an amazing thing. I just love it. That's another thing about being on stage and performing, and the interaction with people is the audience wants to love you. People want to love you. Give them something to love. And it has to be from an authentic place.
Exactly. And what you just mentioned a few moments ago, you were on the Creed cruise.
Yeah.
That's the band Creed, Scott Stapp. I'm figuring you get inspiration from him and also his band.
Yep.
I do know this because, I follow your social media,
Thank
which
you.
is Iwan Unbroken. Make sure you follow that. But besides his music, what does Creed or any other musician or band kinda influence you and how you kinda take that? Where do you pull that inspiration from them?
Well, from Creed, it's just so weird because they were out of the limelight for a long time.
Yeah,
And it's just looking back, I could also see the hand of God. They started coming back, and I started re-listening to their music because I was always a fan, but there's like the long stretch with nothing. And then somehow, long story short, Scott Stapp's book, which I did not know that he had written about his life, fell into my lap, and I'm reading it and I'm like, all I need to do is erase Scott Stapp and put my name, because my life and his life were almost identical, including the things that happened to him. Like I said, just because you're a cop, things happen. Okay, things happen. And I went through a lot of the things that he went through. And then I just started listening to the music. I said, wow, I want my albums to be like this, not one bad song. And then it just, I met the entire band and they were cool. And that's how I want to be. The biggest disappointment is when you meet somebody that you really emulated and they're like either standoffish or stuck up, but not this band. They're like true stars. Like I watched Scott Stapp and Mark Tremonti and the entire band, and I'm like, that's how it's done. So it's almost like mentors from a distance, you know?
gotcha.
Yep. And I like actually writing songs. There's another guy named Michael Hutchence before that. And I found him
Mhm.
after he was dead.
Yeah,
And
of
I would
In Excess, those people that didn't know Michael Hutchins of In
yeah.
Excess.
And I would just like I started studying him because we look similar. It's the weird how I found it. I saw a picture. I go, wait, I had similar hair at the time, like curly hair. I go, wow, who's this guy? And then I started studying him and how he moves on stage. I learned from watching videos on YouTube. That's how I learned how to move on stage and how to act. Well, I studied acting for a while in Hollywood too. But the thing is, it's like I learned all this from Creed, and from before Creed would be Michael Hutchence from In Excess. That's how I learned my stuff. It was on my own. But yeah, Creed is a big part of my life right now.
They're huge, at least, like I said, that I see all over your social media. And let me kind of go this route. Where was I going to go with this? All right. So you have Creed, you have Michael Hutchins. Anybody else out there that you pull inspiration from? Any other, bucket list people that that you would love to meet or discuss music with?
I'd say anybody that's made it. I'm not going to even name names.
Okay.
I because those are my well, one's dead, so I can't
Yeah.
talk to him. His book, but Creed, yeah, I could definitely talk to them about a lot of stuff. It would be endless because they're just so cool. I swear, I love it. Seven Dust is another band, but I met them on the ship. And there's another band that I'm like exploring and loving, but I'm kind of ADHD. Actually, I am before it was like fashionable. So when I'm not scattered, I hyper focus on things and then I pick it apart. Like I hyper focus on one thing. So I have a lot of people that I love, but right now it's like who I look at as a mentor would have to be Scott Stapp, his solo project, and Creed.
Okay. I want to get into your performances. So, do you currently do live performances anywhere?
I wish. No,
You do?
that's I'm working up to that.
Okay.
We're releasing things one by one, and then eventually it's going to be an album, and it's in the process, it's in the works, that particular aspect. But that's like picking a family. It's the most I've been through this before with other bands in the past all of my life. You have to choose carefully. It's like choosing someone to marry, but you have to
Oh
do
yeah.
it with three other people.
Hmm.
So, and you got to wait because the marker is 3 months. After 3 months, it's hard to keep a mask on. So you have to choose carefully. But yeah, that's in the works.
So you have the band that's gonna eventually fill in around you and kind of
Yep.
start doing some live performances.
So
Um, Obviously, like you said, trying to find three, maybe four people that kind of fill in and get on the same time frames with everybody and make sure everybody has the same
mhm,
type of expectations, which is what I said earlier. There's a lot
yeah,
of people out there that are musicians that are expecting stuff here or there. There's also those musicians who are just session musicians where you can pull them
right.
in here or there. So there's different aspects you can do to kind of pull that all together. Now,
Mhm.
if you had one goal for 2026, what is that one goal that you would look at?
My goal is happening right now. I'm fulfilling my goal. This goal is going to go on forever and ever. Amen. I have a my goal is just to get better and better because you could always be better, making better music, and you got to do that with practice and just keep on doing what I'm doing because actually what I'm doing right now is with with my producer. It's just like a dream come true. This is my dream. I respect the NYPD, but this is my dream. Even they knew it. So 2026 is when of course, everybody wants to blow up. I want to open for Creed. I want to do a duet with Scott Stapp and all this stuff. Okay. But right now, I just need to focus on my music and keep it moving and learn more. Learn more. That's it.
All right, here's an interesting question for you.
Okay.
15 years ago, if you were to tell yourself then what you're doing now, what would you tell them? Oh, like future you. 15 years ago, future you would have been like, okay, I'm here where I'm at now. What would that? Because I know exactly what I would say. So I want to hear what you would say.
Yeah, what would I say? I probably wouldn't have listened to my older self because so it doesn't really matter what I would say. I'm actually really happy with the way things went. I'm even happy that I was a cop. So I don't know what I would have just keep it moving. Just never give up. But then I'm that way, you know. It's like I went to a psychic once and they told me, "Oh, you're like a weed. If they stomp you out over here, you grow out over there." So I just say, continue being a weed, not weed, a weed. So that's what I would have said. But I've been following that advice all my life. I'm happy. I
I was just gonna actually say that with this, we've been almost on for 25 minutes. I've known you for longer than that. But
yeah,
with everything that we've been discussing, you could have been sad looking the entire time. But you are so smiley and just look like you're happy and having a great time.
yeah.
That is what I love best about when you and I talk. Even
Thank you.
if it's off
Yeah,
camera, the fact that you're so positive, more people need to have that positivity in their lives.
yeah,
And I don't see a lot of it. There's a lot of bad shit all over social media. We know that. There's a lot of stuff that gets into our heads that people just are always depressed about. But
yeah.
the one thing you got to do, you have control of what you do. You don't have control of what other people do.
Exactly. And you have a choice. It's like it's like my song Wait, battle between good and evil. Whichever one or the two wolves, whichever one you look at, that's the direction you're going towards. So choose wisely, you know, choose wisely. Like I went from an extremely dark job to music and I'm like I choose to look at the positive. Choose to look at it, find it and focus on it. Can't always do it. I'm not, I'm not perfect, but you got to aim for the positive.
You have to aim for the positive and you got
Hmm.
to take chances in life too. If I wouldn't have taken
Oh,
chances the past 5 years, let's see, 5 years ago, I went back to school, graduated, got a job in radio,
right on.
quit that job right after a year ago, actually, a year ago today, I
Hmm.
left that gig. And now I'm in the music business the last year and just blowing up with everything I'm doing. So
That's what's up.
don't worry about how old you are. If you have that passion for something and you are in a job that whether you like it or not, if it's something that just doesn't fit right, move,
Hmm.
move on.
Yeah.
Same thing
Yep.
with people. If you're with somebody who keeps bringing you down, move on. There's other people out there that'll help you out and get you further.
Yep. Exactly. I totally agree. Don't waste time.
Don't,
Create a void. Something good will come in. But pray a lot.
even though I pray because my girlfriend is huge into religion.
Mhm.
I'm not as much, but I'm getting back into it a little bit. So, and I do pray because, what my mother went through, who passed away earlier this year, she was very religious. And with what I saw her deal with and her positivity, she had cancer for 5 years and was positive every day.
Right. Wow.
I mean, the fact that people can do that,
Yeah.
knowing that you're dying is crazy. People
Mhm.
that are like you who went through what you dealt with in your past and you're now as positive as you can be. Do you have any like motivation you could tell anybody right now? I know we've already said a few things, but is there anything else that you would like to say to somebody who might be dealing with what you've dealt with in your past?
If you don't like something, step away from it and don't be afraid to step away from it to create that void. Because if something's negative and it's continually negative, it's only going to get worse. So just make choices every day. And I am a follower of Christ. So basically I go, God, please help me make these choices. And then just have faith that that's what's going to happen. But even your thoughts are decisions. You decide what
Mhm.
thoughts to keep in your head because two thoughts can't be in your head at the same time. So choose the right one. And it's probably going to be my lifetime thing, but I'm still trying to do that because sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh God, and, forget it. It's too cold outside, whatever is the problem. No, you got up and you can walk. What about the guy that got no legs? It's cliche, but it's true. At least I can get up, get dressed, and go out there.
Yep.
Plus, I
I
got
mean,
to walk the dog, so that's another thing.
so regardless of how cold it is, you still got to get up and get out.
No,
Um,
yes.
is there anything else that you would like to discuss that you've dealt with that you want to kind of go forward with?
Well, there's a lot of things, but the ADHD kind of makes that impossible. It's like squirrel. But I'm sure I'm going to be around. Go visit my music, and I'm going to be around, and I'm sure I will cover everything before I check out of this life. So there you go. I'm not that old, but I'm planning on covering everything. It's going to happen.
Awesome. And like we said at the beginning of the show, you had a brand new song just come out the other day. It's called Black and Blue. It's available now on all streaming platforms. Follow Iwan Unbroken on all social media platforms. I think it's just Iwan on Facebook, if I recall.
Yeah, I don't remember. I get them confused.
Yeah, but I know it's Iwan Unbroken on Instagram and TikTok, and
Yes.
also on YouTube. So, we're good there. And then check out the other two songs. You have Warrior and Wait also available, all streaming. Go to YouTube. That's usually the easiest place, or Spotify. They're all there.
Yep.
But man, oh my God, what an amazing time to have you on the
Oh, it's
show and
fun.
discuss your life and just music and the whole 9 yards. So, Iwan, thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show
you.
today. And until next time, rock on.
Rock on.